The silver ship appeared in the night sky above Wyoming without warning. No satellites detected its approach. No radars pinged its presence. It simply materialized like a new star suddenly born in the darkness. The ship hovered silently over the mountains, its hull reflecting moonlight in ripples of mercury. Samantha Taylor had been a park ranger for 5 years. She knew every trail, every ridge, every stream in her territory. Nothing surprised her anymore until tonight. She stood on the observation deck of her station, mouth slightly open as she watched the impossible object floating above the tree line. Her radio crackled to life. "Ranger Taylor, do you see that?" asked a voice filled with awe. "I see it," Sam replied, unable to take her eyes off the sight. "I just don't believe it." The ship began to descend slowly toward a clearing near the lake. Sam jumped into her Jeep and drove recklessly down the mountain path, heart pounding against her ribs. Something told her this moment would change everything. This was first contact, and somehow she was going to be part of it. When she reached the clearing, the ship had landed silently. A large oval craft with no visible seams or windows rested on the grass. No steam, no disturbed earth, nothing to indicate the massive object hadn't always been there. Sam approached cautiously, her flashlight beam seeming pathetically small against the metallic hull. She was 10 feet away when a section of the ship simply disappeared, revealing an opening, a soft blue. Light spilled out, and with it came 3 figures. They were tall and slender, with limbs that seemed too long for their bodies. Their skin shimmered with an opalescent quality that shifted colors with each movement. But most striking were their eyes, large, almond-shaped, and entirely black without pupils or whites. They were undeniably female in form, yet utterly alien. Sam froze, unable to move, as the tallest of the 3 approached. The alien raised a 6-fingered hand in what seemed like a greeting. "Mean no harm, human." The words formed in Sam's mind, though the creature had not spoken aloud. "We are researchers from the Viridian Collective. We have been observing your world for some time." Sam swallowed hard, finding her voice at last. "Why are you here? Why now?" The alien tilted her head in a curiously human gesture. "To understand your species is unique in our experience. You live on what we classify as a death world, yet you thrive. We wish to learn how." Before Sam could respond, a beam of light engulfed her. She felt weightless for a moment, then found herself standing in a large chamber with curved walls that seemed to pulse with soft light. The 3 aliens stood before her. "I am Zara, lead researcher of this expedition," said the tallest, one still speaking directly into Sam's mind. "You have been selected as a primary subject for cultural exchange." Sam tried to control her panic. "Where am I?" "Exactly. You are aboard our research vessel in orbit around your planet. The transport was temporary. You will be returned." Sam took a deep breath, steadying herself. "How long will I be here?" "What you would measure as 30 days. We have selected 9 humans in total for this study. All will arrive shortly, true to Zara's word." More humans began appearing. In the chamber, one by one, they materialized, looking just as confused and frightened as Sam felt. There were 5 women and 4 men, ranging in age from early 20s to mid-50s. A young woman with dark hair and eyes approached Sam. "Hi, I'm Kelly Martinez," she said, extending her hand. "I was working night shift at Phoenix Memorial Hospital when they took me." Sam shook her hand, grateful for the human contact. "Samantha Taylor, Wyoming, Park Service." An older woman joined them. "Diane Wilson," she offered. "I teach physics at a small college in Maine. I always believed we weren't alone, but this is..." She gestured around the chamber at a loss for words. The 9 humans huddled together, sharing their stories as the Viridians observed them. Sam noticed how the aliens watched their interactions with intense interest, recording their observations on transparent tablets. Finally, Zara approached the group. "You will be given comfortable quarters during your stay. We encourage you to maintain normal behaviors. We wish to observe natural human responses, particularly to stress and fear." The aliens led them through corridors that seemed to form as they walked and disappear behind them. They were shown to individual rooms, sparsely furnished but comfortable. Each had a sleeping platform, food synthesizer, and sanitation facility that adapted to human biology. Despite the aliens' reassurances, Sam had trouble sleeping that first night. The gravity felt slightly wrong. The air smelled too clean. and the silence was absolute without the familiar sounds of wind or distant animals. She wondered about her co-workers. Would they search for her? Would they think she had been attacked by a bear or fallen into a ravine? The next morning, the tests began. The humans were subjected to various simulations designed to measure their responses to fear. The Viridians seemed particularly interested in how quickly humans adapted to threatening situations. In one test, Sam found herself in what appeared to be a dense jungle. Sounds of predators echoed around her. The simulation was so realistic she could feel her heart race and sweat bead on her forehead. But after 20 minutes of successfully evading the virtual threats, her fear response diminished. She began to analyze the pattern of sounds, predicting where danger would come from. Next, fascinating, Zara commented when the simulation ended. You recognized patterns and adapted your response accordingly. Your fear did not paralyze you, but sharpened your senses. The other humans reported similar experiences. The Viridians were amazed at how quickly humans could become desensitized to fear stimuli. You evolved on a planet with thousands of species that could kill you, Zara explained. This shaped your neural responses in unique ways. Kelly the nurse showed particular resilience in medical emergency simulations, while Diane demonstrated exceptional problem-solving under pressure. Sam excelled at environmental survival scenarios. The men, too, showed specialized adaptations to various threats. By the end of the first week, the humans had begun to form bonds. Ryan, a construction worker from Texas, became their unofficial leader, while Mia, a computer programmer from California, found ways to communicate more effectively with the Viridians. Sam, Kelly, and Diane became especially close, supporting each other through increasingly challenging tests. The Viridians observed these social bonds with interest. Your species forms cooperative units rapidly in response to external pressure, Zara noted. This is an effective survival strategy. One day during their second week aboard the ship, alarms suddenly blared throughout the vessel. The humans were quickly secured in their quarters, but through the translucent walls, Sam could see Viridians rushing about in obvious panic. Something is wrong, she told the others gathering in her room. The aliens are scared. Hours passed before Zara finally appeared at their door. The ship's drive system is malfunctioning, she explained. We are being pulled toward a spatial anomaly that could destroy the vessel. Our engineers are attempting repairs. Can we help? Ryan asked. We might see something your people have missed. Zara hesitated. Humans are physically more fragile than Viridians. The engineering section is hazardous, but we handle hazardous situations differently than you do. Diane pointed out. That's why we're here, isn't it? After conferring with other Viridians, Zara reluctantly agreed to let them help. The humans were led to the engineering section, where several alien technicians worked frantically on a large cylindrical device that pulsed with erratic energy. The room was intensely hot, and strange radiation warnings flashed on monitors. Diane immediately began asking technical questions about the drive system. While she engaged with the engineers, Sam noticed something odd. The Viridian engineers kept rotating out, working in the dangerous area for only minutes at a time before retreating. They seemed physically unable to endure the hazardous conditions for long periods. The issue is with the cooling system, Diane explained after consulting with the alien engineers. The radiation levels are preventing them from completing the manual recalibration. They can't stay in there long enough. I worked hazardous materials in the emergency room. Kelly said I can handle radiation exposure. I was a firefighter before construction. Ryan added, I know about working in dangerous conditions. Sam stepped forward too. Ill help. I do search and rescue in all weather conditions. Despite Zara's protests, Kelly, Ryan, and Sam entered the core chamber, protected only by thin Viridian safety suits. The heat was oppressive and the radiation made their skin tingle painfully, but they worked methodically, following Diane's instructions relayed through the communication system. The Viridians watched in amazement as the humans endured conditions their own species could not tolerate for more than minutes at a time. It took nearly an hour, but finally the drive's erratic pulsing stabilized. When Sam, Kelly, and Ryan emerged exhausted and with radiation burns on their exposed skin, The Viridians stared at them with what seemed like a new understanding. "You knowingly exposed yourselves to deadly conditions," Zara said, her mental voice filled with what Sam interpreted as, "Aw, someone had to do it." Sam replied simply, "The incident changed everything." The Viridians no longer treated the humans as research subjects but began approaching them with something akin to respect. The human capacity to acknowledge fear yet act, despite it, had deeply impressed the aliens. As the Earth group recovered in the medical bay, Zara visited them regularly. "You faced certain physical harm, yet you proceeded. Our species would never make such a choice. It's not unique to us," Diane explained. "Mothers run into burning buildings for their children. People donate kidneys to strangers every day." The official first contact protocol began with a series of carefully orchestrated meetings. Government representatives arrived at Sam's cabin first, military intelligence specialists, then scientific advisors, followed by diplomatic corps. The small ranger station became the unlikely center of Earth's first alien summit. Sam watched with a mixture of pride and anxiety as Nala and Triss presented themselves to human officials. Their dignified demeanor and advanced translation technology impressed even the most skeptical visitors. Initial fears gave way to cautious curiosity, then to excitement as the potential benefits of Viridian contact became clear. Laurel documented everything, her exclusive access making her the envy of journalists worldwide. Though the story remained classified, she prepared detailed accounts for the day the public would be informed. Her perspective as someone who had grown to know the Viridians personally provided crucial context. The humans who had been aboard the Viridian ship were debriefed extensively. Their testimonies helped establish trust. Sam described the ship malfunction and how humans had helped save the vessel. This demonstration of human value to the advanced species resonated strongly with officials, who feared Earth might be seen as primitive or expendable. Kelly, Ryan, and Diane shared their experiences on Viridia, providing insights into Viridian society and technology. Their observations that the aliens needed human qualities as much as humans needed Viridian knowledge helped establish the groundwork for a relationship of mutual benefit rather than dependency. Yet problems emerged quickly. Earth governments accustomed to competition and secrecy struggled to cooperate. Military leaders worried about security implications. Scientists argued over research priorities. Religious leaders demanded inclusion in the dialogue. The very human qualities that made Earth dynamic also complicated the contact process. In private, Sam expressed her concerns to Nala. "Will your people have patience with our chaos?" The Viridian tilted her head in her characteristic gesture. "We anticipated this. The Council studied your global politics before approving contact. Your fragmentation is concerning, but also valuable. Different perspectives create resilience." 2 months after the initial landing, a historic announcement was planned. The world would learn about the Viridian presence. A carefully selected location was chosen for the revelation, a neutral site in Switzerland with representatives from major nations present. The night before this momentous event, Sam couldn't sleep. She stood outside her cabin, now surrounded by a discreet security perimeter, looking up at the stars. The Viridian ship was still there, invisible but present, a silent witness to this turning point in human history. "Do you think we'll handle it well?" she asked Triss, who had joined her. "Your arrival changes everything." Triss considered the question. "Your species has survived ice ages, plagues, wars, asteroid impacts. You are remarkably adaptable. This will be another adaptation." The revelation day arrived with perfect weather. Satellite feeds were prepared to broadcast globally. Security measures were extensive, but kept discreet to avoid alarming visuals. The setting was designed to appear calm, controlled, reassuring. World leaders gathered on a stage with the Viridian representatives. The plan was simple. The Secretary General would make an announcement. The Viridians would appear. Prepared statements would be delivered. Questions, carefully screened, would be answered. A historic handshake would conclude the ceremony. Sam watched from backstage with Kelly, Ryan, Diane, and Laurel. They had been given honorary positions as the first contact team. Their presence provided continuity between the private exchange and the public revelation. Then everything went wrong. Just minutes before the broadcast began, alarms sounded. Security personnel rushed the stage, evacuating officials. An unidentified aircraft had breached the no-fly zone heading directly toward the gathering. Despite warnings, it continued its approach. Sam and her friends were ushered toward secure bunkers. But in the confusion they became, separated from the Viridians, Nala and Triss had been moved to a different security area. Outside the gathering facility, chaos erupted. Military forces scrambled to intercept the approaching craft communications networks, jammed from emergency protocols. The carefully orchestrated revelation dissolved into confusion. "I need to find Nala and Triss," Sam told the others. "They don't understand human panic. Their first public experience can't be this against security protocols." The original contact team slipped, away from their escort searching for their alien friends. They found them in an isolated room surrounded by armed guards who were themselves clearly unsettled by the crisis. The Viridians remained calm, but Sam could see their confusion. "We don't understand," Nala said. "This response seems disproportionate to a single aircraft," Sam tried to explain. "Humans fear what we don't understand. When afraid, we prepare for worst outcomes. It's how we've survived." Before she could elaborate further, the building shook. A distant explosion echoed. The rogue aircraft had been intercepted but had released something before destruction. Preliminary reports indicated a drone swarm now converging on the facility. The guards received new orders through their communications. "Equipment. We need to move the visitors to secure location Alpha," they announced. Their tone left no room for argument. Sam recognized the danger. Separated from their human guides, the Viridians might misinterpret aggressive security measures as hostility. This first public contact was spiraling toward potential disaster. "We stay together," she insisted, "all of us." The original contact team remains with the Viridians. After tense negotiation, security reluctantly agreed. The entire group was escorted to a reinforced underground facility. Screens showed the situation above. Drone attacks had been largely neutralized, but the damage was done. Media outlets already reported an attack at the mysterious international gathering. Speculation ran wild. The Viridians observed the human emergency response with scientific interest. Even in this crisis, they maintained their research perspective. "This is the fear response we studied," Triss noted. "But on a societal scale. Fascinating. You don't seem worried," Laurel observed. "Our ship could retrieve us instantly if needed," Nala explained. "But we choose to remain. This is valuable data. How humans manage crisis reveals core truths about your species." Hours passed in the bunker. Government officials arrived for emergency consultation. The original announcement plan was scrapped. A new approach was needed. The world had already noticed something significant happening. Rumors spread. Control had been lost. The Secretary General made a difficult decision. The announcement would proceed immediately from the secure facility. No ceremony, no carefully staged visuals, just the truth presented directly under crisis conditions. "Perhaps this is better," Diane suggested to the officials. "Humans respond to shared threats. It unites us. Revealing the Viridians during a security incident might actually reduce panic by giving people something to focus on beyond their fear." The broadcast began with the Secretary General acknowledging the security situation, then delivering the historic news. "People of Earth, today we confirm we are not alone. The attack you have witnessed was an attempt to disrupt a planned introduction of visitors from another world. These visitors mean us no harm. They come in peace, seeking exchange of knowledge and culture." Cameras turned to Nala and Triss, who stood with dignity, their alien forms unmistakable even to the most skeptical viewer. Nala spoke directly to Earth for the first time. "We are the Viridian Collective. We come as friends, as learners, and as potential allies. We regret the circumstances of this introduction, but perhaps it is fitting. We meet in crisis as equals, each with something valuable to offer the other." The world watched in stunned silence. Then reactions cascaded. Across global networks, fear, wonder, disbelief, conspiracy theories, religious proclamations, stock market fluctuations. Every human institution struggled to process this new reality. Sam and her friends remained with the Viridians, through it all, explaining human reactions, interpreting the flood of responses. They became cultural translators, helping both sides understand the other. In the days that followed, investigations revealed the attack had been orchestrated by a fringe group called Earth First. They opposed any alien contact, fearing contamination of human culture. Their manifesto declared all extraterrestrial life inherently dangerous. Their attack, designed to disrupt contact, had instead accelerated it and demonstrated precisely why humanity needed new perspectives. A week after the revelation, the Viridians made their second public appearance, this time at the United Nations General Assembly. The security was overwhelming, but the atmosphere had changed. The initial shock had given way. To cautious optimism, humans adapted quickly. The fear response that had initially spiked was already moderating as information replaced uncertainty. Nala addressed the assembly. "We have observed your species for centuries. We watched you struggle, survive, evolve. We saw your capacity for destruction, but also for creation. Your art moved us. Your music touched us. Your literature showed us new ways of seeing. We come now not as superiors, but as companions on the cosmic journey." The speech was translated into every Earth language, broadcast to every corner of the globe. The response was overwhelming. Billions watched as humanity officially entered the galactic community. 1 year after official first contact, Earth had changed in ways both profound and subtle. The Viridian embassy stood completed, a gleaming structure of impossible curves and living materials that responded to environmental conditions. The building itself became a symbol of the new relationship between species, a blend of human aesthetic values and alien functionality. Inside the embassy, Sam attended the anniversary celebration. Representatives from Earth nations mingled with Viridian diplomats. Scientists from both worlds discussed ongoing research projects. Artists shared creative works inspired by the cultural exchange. Ordinary citizens selected by lottery experienced their first direct interaction with aliens. Sam moved through the crowd, greeting familiar faces, both human and Viridian. Her role as cultural liaison kept her at the center of this historic relationship. She had become something of a celebrity, though she remained uncomfortable with the attention, preferring the quiet work of building understanding between worlds. Kelly approached carrying a strange device. This prototype combines Viridian tissue regeneration with human immunotherapy. She explained excitedly, "Clinical trials start next month. Could revolutionize cancer treatment." Ryan joined them, his workwear contrasting with the formal attire of diplomats. "Just finished installing the adaptive foundation system at the Jakarta outpost," he reported. "The building actually shifts during earthquakes, absorbs the energy, saved thousands of lives during last week's tremor." Diane hurried over, clutching data tablets. "The physics team achieved quantum entanglement across 2 light years," she announced. "Instantaneous communication, Earth to Viridia, no transmission." Delay Laurel smiled, recording it all for her ongoing chronicle. "The technological benefits alone justified contact," she noted, "but the cultural impact might prove even more significant." The gathering represented everything the exchange had accomplished. Viridian technology addressing human problems. Human creativity inspiring Viridian innovation. 2 species with different evolutionary paths finding complementary strengths. But beneath the celebration lay continuing challenges. Not everyone embraced the new relationship Earth First. The group that had attacked the original revelation continued its campaign of resistance. Their propaganda spread fear about alien intentions. Their operations had grown more sophisticated, targeting key exchange facilities and personnel. Sam herself had received threats necessitating security protection. Similarly, on Viridia, a conservative faction called the Purists opposed ongoing contact with humans. They feared contamination from Deathworld chaos. They argued humans were too unpredictable, too dangerous for sustained interaction. They pressed the Grand Council to limit exchange. These tensions shadowed the anniversary celebration. Security was extensive, visitors carefully screened. The openness both sides desired remained constrained by practical concerns. Sam worried that fear might yet undermine everything they had built. During a quiet moment, Nala found Sam on a balcony overlooking the embassy grounds. "You seem troubled," she observed. Sam nodded. "The resistance grows more organized on both worlds. We build bridges while others plant explosives. The Viridian stood beside her watching Earth clouds drift across the evening sky. "Were you expecting universal acceptance?" "No," Sam admitted. "But I hoped. For better, I thought showing the benefits would overcome fear." Nala made a sound like gentle wind chimes, her species' version of laughter. "Fear is not rational, Sam. That is its evolutionary value. It persists even when evidence contradicts it. It protects against unseen threats, real or imagined." A comfortable silence fell between them, their friendship deepened by shared challenges. Over the past year, Nala had become more expressive, more human in her mannerisms, while Sam had adopted some Viridian patience and perspective. Each had been changed by the other. "The Council has been monitoring Earth opinion trends," Nala eventually said. "Support for contact has stabilized at 67% acceptance, 22%, uncertainty, 11%, active resistance. This matches predictions and on Viridia, similar though resistance is more subtle, less violent, more political. A resolution to restrict human visitors will be proposed at the next council." Assembly Sam frowned. "Is there danger of contact being broken?" Nala considered carefully. "It is unlikely. The benefits are too significant. Both our worlds face threats neither can address alone. But the nature of our relationship may change." Before Sam could respond, security alarms blared throughout. The embassy guards moved quickly to predetermined positions. Guests were ushered toward safe rooms. An automated voice announced a security breach at the perimeter. Sam and Nala were escorted to the embassy command center, where screens displayed the situation. A small group had breached the outer security zone using stolen credentials. They carried unknown devices toward the main structure, increased security at the central core, ordered the Viridian security chief. "The ambassador's safety is priority." Sam watched the unfolding crisis with a sinking feeling. This attack on the anniversary celebration would damage public perception, further strengthen resistance movements on both worlds. The fragile trust they had built could crumble. Then, she noticed something unexpected on the security feeds. Human and Viridian guards were working together seamlessly, each compensating for the other's limitations. The Viridians provided tactical analysis while humans made intuitive decisions, adapting to the changing threat. The combination proved remarkably effective. Within minutes, the intruders were surrounded, isolated, and neutralized without casualties. The devices they carried proved to be more symbolic than dangerous, designed to release protest messages rather than cause destruction. In the aftermath, as the celebration cautiously resumed, Sam found new perspective. The security response demonstrated what made the exchange valuable. Neither species alone would have managed the situation as effectively as they did together. That night, after most guests had departed, a small gathering of the original contact team met in Sam's office within the embassy. They had become something of a family, brought together by extraordinary circumstances, now bonded by shared purpose. "The attack could have been worse," Ryan pointed out. "Nobody died this time. But what about next time? We enhanced security procedures naturally." Triss responded, "But we must not allow fear to dictate our actions. That would give." The resistors Victory Laurel, who had been analyzing public response data, offered insight. "The attack is actually generating sympathy for the exchange. The resistance miscalculated. Most humans are condemning their methods, even those uncertain about contact reject violence." Diane raised a different concern. More worried about the scientific complications. "The quantum communication breakthrough has military applications. Governments are already demanding exclusive access. Both our species must navigate how technology transfers are managed." The challenges seemed endless: scientific, ethical, political, security. Each solved problem revealed new complications. The path forward would never be smooth. But looking at her friends, human and Viridian, alike, Sam found renewed determination. The value of what they built outweighed the difficulties. Several days later, Sam received an unexpected invitation from the Viridian Grand Council. She would address their assembly on Viridia, representing human perspective on the first year of official contact. Despite her discomfort with public speaking, she recognized the honor and importance of this opportunity. The journey to Viridia, took only days aboard a Viridian transport. Sam had declined previous opportunities to visit the alien homeworld, focusing instead on her work on Earth. Now she watched through viewing ports as the blue-green sphere of Viridia grew larger. The planet appeared serene from orbit, its atmosphere clear of pollution, its land masses shaped by careful management over millennia. Unlike Earth with its wild weather patterns and chaotic natural systems, Viridia displayed ordered beauty, gardens visible from space, oceans of perfect blue cities arranged in mathematical patterns. Landing in the capital, Sam experienced Viridian gravity for the first time. The lightness made her movements awkward, bouncing where she intended to step. The air felt thin, but sweet in her lungs, filtered of impurities. A human adaptation zone had been established, allowing her to move without an environmental suit, though she noticed subtle support systems monitoring her biological functions. The Viridian Council chamber took her breath away. A vast dome of living crystal that responded to thought and emotion. The thoughts of hundreds of Viridians created shifting patterns of light across its surface, a physical manifestation of collective consciousness. Sam stood before the assembly, feeling small yet significant, a representative of humanity addressing the leaders of a civilization thousands of years more advanced than her own. The irony wasn't lost on her. A year ago, she had been guiding lost hikers. Now she was guiding interspecies relations, distinguished council members. She began, "I come before you not as an official diplomat, but as someone who has lived the reality of our exchange from its first moments. I have seen both the promise and the challenges of our relationship." She described the technological benefits. Earth had gained medical advances, environmental restoration, communication breakthroughs, but she emphasized the less tangible values as well. 2 weeks into the Viridian stay on Earth, news began to spread about the strange visitors. Sam had hoped to keep their presence relatively quiet, but in a small mountain community, unusual foreigners attracted attention. The official story that they were researchers with a rare medical condition, requiring protective suits, worked initially, but questions multiplied. Local officials became suspicious when they couldn't find records of the foreign research team. Wildlife authorities wanted proper documentation. Park administration demanded permits. Sam found herself creating increasingly elaborate explanations. The situation reached a tipping point when a young reporter from the regional newspaper arrived at the ranger station. Her name was Laurel Bennett, and she had received tips about mysterious lights and strange visitors. "I understand you're hosting foreign researchers, Sam," she said, notebook in hand. "But no university claims them. No research foundation acknowledges funding them. And those suits they wear. No medical condition I can find matches the description." Sam maintained the cover story, but Laurel was persistent. She showed photographs she'd taken from a distance of the Viridians. Their proportions were just slightly wrong for humans even under the suits. "Look, Miss Taylor," the reporter said, lowering her voice. "I don't know what you're involved in, but I think these aren't people from another country. They're from somewhere much further away, aren't they?" Before Sam could respond, Nala appeared in the doorway of the station. Her movements too fluid, her height too great to be fully human. The reporter gasped, then composed herself quickly. "You are not human," she stated. Not a question. Nala looked at Sam, who nodded with resignation. The deception had become untenable. "I am Nala of the Viridian Collective," the alien confirmed. "We are visitors to your world, engaged in cultural exchange." To Sam's surprise, Laurel showed no fear, only intense curiosity and excitement. She bombarded Nala with questions which the alien answered with remarkable patience. The reporter was particularly interested in Viridian society, their technology, and the purpose of their visit. "This changes everything," Laurel breathed. "Everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe." Sam interrupted. "This cannot become public, not yet. The world isn't prepared for confirmation of alien life. The panic could be devastating." Laurel looked conflicted. The biggest story in human history was literally standing before her. But she understood the implications. What if we compromise? The reporter suggested. I won't publish now. But you give me exclusive access to document this cultural exchange. The full story when the time is right. After consulting with Triss and contacting the Viridian ship, Nala agreed to the arrangement. Laurel would be incorporated into the exchange program as an observer and chronicler, becoming the 10th human directly involved with Laurel. Now part of their group, the cultural exchange expanded. The reporter brought a human perspective that complemented Sam's. Her questions forced the Viridians to explain concepts they took for granted, making the learning deeper for everyone. One evening as they sat by the lake, Laurel asked a question that had been bothering her. Why did your people wait so long to contact us? We've been sending signals into space for decades. Viridian policy is non-interference with developing worlds, Triss explained. We monitor thousands of species across the galaxy. Most destroy themselves before achieving sustainable space travel. Those that survive typically evolve on safer worlds than yours. Humans were classified as high risk. Nala added, your history shows exceptional creativity, paired with exceptional violence. Your technological development outpaced your social evolution. Laurel looked offended. We're not that bad. Sam intervened gently. We're talking about a species perspective. Humans went from first flight to nuclear weapons in less than 50 years. That's probably terrifying to older civilizations. The Viridians nodded in agreement. Most species take centuries to make equivalent technological leaps. Triss said, this allows social structures to adapt. Yours advance at a frightening pace. During their third week on Earth, Sam organized an expedition to show the Viridians more diverse environments. They traveled to the coast where the aliens experienced ocean for the first time. The endless movement of waves, the smell of salt. The cacophony of seabirds overwhelmed their senses. It's alive. Nala whispered, watching the surf. Our seas are calm, controlled. This is chaos in liquid form. Sam smiled. It's one system constantly changing but in balance. Humans have always been drawn to the sea despite its dangers. Later, they visited a small city. The Viridians were simultaneously fascinated and disturbed by urban human life. The crowding, the noise, the apparent disorder of people moving in all directions, yet somehow avoiding collision. The concept of thousands of individuals making independent decisions in shared space was alien to their more collective society. You allow such freedom of movement, Triss observed. No central coordination. Yet function is maintained, it's organized. Chaos, Laurel explained. We have traffic rules, social norms, but yes, we value individual choice even when it creates inefficiency. The Viridians recorded everything. They were particularly interested in human emotional displays, the unrestrained laughter of children playing the visible frustration of a driver in traffic, the affectionate greeting between friends. Their own society had evolved toward emotional restraint, seeing strong feelings as primitive and unnecessary. Yet here on Earth, emotion seemed integral to human function. Sam noticed how the aliens would watch intently when humans expressed joy, fear, anger, or love. These emotional displays that the Viridians had engineered out of their society now fascinated them while exploring a museum. Nala made an observation that surprised Sam. Your art, your music, your literature, all are attempts to create order from chaos, yet you deliberately introduce elements of unpredictability. Why? Because perfect order becomes stagnant. Sam suggested, we need some chaos to evolve. This concept seemed revolutionary to the Viridians. Their civilization had spent millennia eliminating unpredictability, seeing it as primitive and dangerous. Now they witnessed a species that cultivated controlled chaos as a creative force. As their time on Earth neared its end, Sam received a communication from the orbiting ship. Kelly, Diane, and Ryan would be returning from Viridia. They requested a meeting at Sam's cabin to share their experiences. The reunion was joyful. Sam had missed her friends. Their return completed the circle of the exchange program. Now both species had experienced life on the other's world. The three humans looked changed somehow. Their movements were more deliberate. Their speech patterns, altered slightly by weeks spent among the Viridians. Kelly had lost weight in the lower gravity environment. Ryan had grown a beard and Diane's eyes held a faraway look as if still seeing alien landscapes. Their stories amazed Sam. They described Viridia as a world of breathtaking beauty and perfect order. Cities built with mathematical precision, landscapes sculpted for aesthetic harmony, weather controlled to eliminate extremes, a society without crime, poverty, or conflict. Yet beneath this perfection, they had sensed something missing. They engineered the struggle out of their existence, Ryan explained. And with it, much of their drive to improve. The Viridians admitted their society had reached a plateau. Diane added, "They have incredible technology, but innovation has slowed. They create variations on existing themes rather than revolutionary ideas." Kelly described Viridian medicine. Their healthcare was miraculous by human standards. Disease had been eliminated, aging slowed, injuries healed with minimal intervention, but their biology had become dependent on technology. They could no longer adapt naturally to environmental changes. They became too perfect, Sam realized. Exactly, Kelly nodded. They recognized this themselves. It's why they sought contact with species like us. They need what we have. Laurel, who had been taking notes, looked up. What exactly do we have that they need? Kelly smiled. The ability to thrive in chaos, the comfort with imperfection, the drive that comes from struggle. They call it the Deathworld mindset. That night, the humans and Viridians gathered around a campfire. Nala and Triss had grown more comfortable on Earth, adapting to its gravity and sensory intensity. The fire that had once frightened them now seemed a fitting symbol of humanity, powerful, dangerous, yet life-giving. "We have a proposal," Nala announced. "The Grand Council has been monitoring our findings along with the experiences on Viridia. They believe a more permanent exchange would benefit both our peoples." "What kind of exchange?" Laurel asked already. Imagining the story she'd eventually write a cultural mission on Earth, Nala explained. A small Viridian outpost to facilitate ongoing learning, technology sharing, scientific cooperation, and a similar human presence. On Viridia, Theres Mortres added, "Our scientists have identified a concerning phenomenon in your solar system, an asteroid cluster with unstable orbits. Our calculations show potential Earth impact within 50 years. Your current detection systems have not yet identified this threat." The humans exchanged alarmed glances. "We offer our technology to address this threat," Nala continued. "Not as payment, but as an investment in our shared future." The implications were enormous. Sam realized. The Viridians weren't just offering knowledge, they were offering protection. A shield against cosmic threats humanity might not even know existed yet, but there would be complications. Trust would not come easily. Governments would want the alien technology without the alien oversight. Religious institutions would face existential questions. Conspiracy theorists would have a field day. The days following the engine crisis brought significant changes aboard the Viridian ship. The aliens began treating their human guests with a new level of respect. Sam noticed how the Viridians would now make eye contact when speaking to them, something they had rarely done before. The testing continued but felt less clinical, more collaborative. Zara requested a formal meeting with all 9 humans in what appeared to be a conference room. The walls displayed images of space, a reminder they were far from Earth. "The Grand Council has been informed of your assistance during our crisis," Zara began. "They are most intrigued by your species' ability to function effectively despite physical danger. This quality is rare among spacefaring civilizations." Sam exchanged glances with Kelly, who sat beside her. "So you're saying advanced species are generally more cautious than humans?" "Most definitely," Zara replied. "Evolution on safe worlds tends to produce risk-averse beings. Species from Deathworlds rarely achieve space travel before destroying themselves. Your kind is an anomaly." This revelation fascinated the humans. The idea that their perceived weakness, their fragile bodies, might be paired with unique psychological strengths was empowering. Zara continued with unexpected news. "The Council wishes to expand our cultural exchange. They propose sending Viridian observers to Earth while some of you would be invited to visit our homeworld." The room erupted in excited conversation. The chance to visit an alien world was beyond anything they had imagined. There are complications, of course, Zara cautioned. Our physiology is adapted to lower gravity and different atmospheric composition. Visits would require environmental suits for both species, but the scientific and cultural value would be immense. Ryan raised a practical concern. What about our lives back on Earth? People must be searching for. Zara tilted her head. We have created temporal displacement fields around your absent sites. Time passes differently there. Only days will have elapsed when you return, regardless of how long you stay with us, Diane. The physicist looked skeptical but interested. You can manipulate time. Not exactly, Zara clarified. We create localized temporal bubbles where time flows at different rates. It is standard procedure for our research to minimize disruption. The humans voted unanimously to accept the Council's proposal. 3 would visit Viridia, Kelly, Diane, and Ryan, while the others would return to Earth accompanied by Viridian observers. Sam would be among those returning. She needed to get back to her forests. The next week was dedicated to preparation. The humans learned about Viridian culture, history, and basic language while teaching their alien hosts about Earth customs. Sam found herself becoming something of a cultural ambassador, explaining everything from human family structures to music and art. Zara seemed particularly interested in Earth's biodiversity. You have millions of species on your world, she marveled. Viridia has fewer than 10,000. Our evolution took a different path with less competition and more cooperation. During one evening session, Sam asked the question that had been bothering her. Why did you choose us 9, random humans? There must be billions of better candidates. You were not random, Zara explained. We selected individuals who displayed both courage and compassion in their daily lives. Our observations showed you routinely placing yourself at risk to help others, Sam. We watched you rescue hikers in a blizzard last winter. Sam felt a chill remembering that harrowing night. She had nearly died finding a family stranded on the mountain. The thought that alien eyes had been watching was unsettling. We chose each of you for similar reasons, Zara continued. You represent what we consider the best qualities of humanity. The day of departure arrived with mixed emotions. The humans had formed bonds both with each other and with some of the Viridians. Sam would miss Kelly, Ryan, and Diane, who were heading to Viridia. She hugged each of them tightly, promising to reconnect when they all returned to Earth. 2. Viridian researchers Nala and Triss would accompany Sam and the others back to Earth. They wore specially designed environmental suits that regulated temperature and gravity for their comfort. The suits were remarkably thin, almost like a second skin with only a slight shimmer to indicate they weren't natural. The return ship was smaller than the main vessel designed specifically for planetary landings. Zara escorted them to the departure bay. This exchange marks a historic moment for both our peoples, she said formally, but with what Sam now recognized as genuine emotion. Never before has Viridian society engaged with a Deathworld species as equals. The journey to Earth took only hours. The small ship entered the atmosphere under cover of night landing in the same Wyoming clearing where Sam had first encountered the aliens. She felt a rush of emotion as she stepped onto familiar ground, breathing the cool mountain air. The scent of pine and soil brought tears to her eyes. Home. The Viridians emerged cautiously, even with their protective suits. Earth was dangerously heavy and intense for them. Their movements were careful, deliberate as they adjusted to the crushing gravity. Your atmosphere contains so many particles. Nala observed her voice translating through a small device at her throat. We filter such impurities. On our world, those impurities are what make this place alive. Sam smiled, watching a moth flutter past the Viridians, tracked its movement with fascination. The group had agreed to use Sam's remote ranger station as their base. The official story would be that the Viridians were researchers from abroad studying American wildlife. Their suits could be explained as protection for a rare medical condition. Sam radioed her headquarters reporting her return. Invented story of getting lost during a storm. Survey explained her absence. She would take vacation time now to host the foreign researchers. Her supervisor was surprised but didn't question the request. Sam had years of unused leave and an excellent record. The next morning she drove the Viridians to her cabin, a simple wooden structure beside a small lake. The aliens were overwhelmed by the sensory experience of Earth. The cacophony of bird calls, the constant movement of plants in the breeze, the irregular patterns of clouds. Everything on. Their world was more ordered, more controlled. So much chaos, Triss commented, watching squirrels chase each other around a pine tree. Yet it functions as a system. That night, Sam built a campfire. The Viridians sat mesmerized by the dancing flames on. Our world fire is contained, used only in industrial processes, Nala explained. We do not allow it to burn freely. The danger, Sam poked the fire, sending sparks into the night sky. Fire shaped us, she said. We learned to control it, use it, cook with it, stay warm, but we never fully tamed it. We respect its power. The following days were filled with exploration. Sam showed the aliens forests, meadows, and streams. Each ecosystem provoked endless questions and observations. The Viridians took samples of everything: soil, water, plants, insects, cataloging Earth life with scientific precision, but also with growing wonder. They seemed particularly moved by wildlife encounters. A deer and fawn drinking at the lake edge brought Nala to tears, communicated through her translator. Such beauty and vulnerability. The young one so exposed yet continuing to live. Sam began to see her familiar world through new eyes. The dangers she took for granted, the precariousness of life, the constant struggle for survival, all appeared differently now. She recognized how these elements had shaped humanity for better and worse. One afternoon, a sudden mountain storm caught them on an exposed ridge. Lightning crashed around them as rain turned to hail. Sam quickly led the aliens to a rocky overhang. Taking shelter, she noticed both Viridians trembling their suits, registering elevated stress responses. You are frightened, she realized. Our world has no weather extremes like this, Triss explained. We control atmospheric conditions. This unpredictability is disturbing, yet you remain functional. Nala observed, studying Sam. Your fear response does not override your problem-solving abilities, just experience. Sam shrugged. I grew up with storms. When they returned to the cabin, Sam received an urgent call from her headquarters. A group of hikers was missing on the North Ridge. A storm front was moving and search and rescue needed every available ranger. I must go. She told the Viridians. People could die in these conditions. We will accompany you, Nala decided unexpectedly. We wish to observe this human rescue operation. Sam wanted to refuse, the conditions would be dangerous, but she recognized their determination. The cultural exchange went both ways. After equipping the aliens with additional protective gear, the three set out to join the search team. The rescue coordinator was surprised by the foreign researchers, but accepted Sam's explanation that they were studying emergency response techniques. The search area was divided among teams, Sam and the Viridians taking the steepest, most difficult section, due to her experience. As night fell, the storm intensified. Temperatures dropped, wind howled through the trees, and visibility decreased to mere feet. Sam led, confidently despite the conditions, using her knowledge of the terrain to navigate where technology failed. The Viridians followed, struggling against gravity and weather, but refusing to turn back. Near midnight, they heard a faint call for help. Following the sound, they found 3 hikers huddled under a rock formation. One had a broken ankle, another showed signs of hypothermia. Sam immediately began emergency procedures while explaining each step to the watching aliens. We must carry them down, she told the Viridians. After stabilizing the injured, they will die in these temperatures.